Good morning. My name is Scott McLarty. I am media coordinator for the Green Party of the United States, and we are at the Green Party's 2016 National Nominating Convention in Houston, Texas. We're about to commence a press conference with featuring Green Party candidates for state and local office from all across the country, from every state except Texas. And the reason for that is we're here in Texas, and we have lots of Texas candidates. We're giving them their own special press conference, which will begin at 11 a.m. this morning. A few words about what's going on this weekend. Tomorrow morning begins the nomination process. That will start off with a press conference at 9 a.m. right here in this room for presidential candidates. Concurrently, the nomination program begins in the theater down at the other end of the student center here. And that press conference will be about half hour, 40 minutes, and the candidates will head down to that to the theater and they'll deliver speeches. We have some special things going on during the day. After lunch, we'll have speeches by Yane Ngo and Dr. Cornel West. They're our keynote speakers. And after that, roll call of states. The nomination will actually begin. Following the roll call of states, the acceptance speeches by the vice presidential and then the presidential nominees. Following that, a press conference for the nominees again in this room. That should begin probably between 4 and 4:30 p.m. if things run smoothly. Now I'd like to turn the program over to David Doonan, former mayor of Greenwich, New York, and he will introduce the candidates who are speaking this morning. David.
Good morning, everyone. I'd like to first introduce Al Bartel, sitting here to my right, who's running to be mayor of Atlanta, Georgia. Al?
Good morning, everybody. My name is Al Bartel. I am a Green Party candidate for mayor in the city of Atlanta, Georgia, in the southeast region of the nation. My communication this morning is to, beyond a shadow of a doubt, communicate that the Green Party movement is alive and well, and we're kicking off the 21st century right here in Houston, Texas. It is absolutely ecstatic for me to be a mayoral candidate while we're launching an unprecedented relationship to the Green Party movement. And so in the city of Atlanta, which arguably may be one of the most powerful cities in the southeast region of the nation, the Green Party movement is committed to having neighborhood, community, faith, and small business leaders have the same access to public policy as lobbyists, special interest groups, and corporations. As such, all over our nation, we as candidates are committed to not just our region, not just our nation, but the entire world begins to embrace the Green Party movement. It is necessary that at the level of cities, counties, states, provinces, we communicate that we are an alternative to the corporate-controlled public policy dimension. And I am absolutely ecstatic to be an example of that as a Green Party candidate for mayor in the city of Atlanta, Georgia, in the southeast region of the United States of America. So we want to welcome you here on behalf of all of us who are candidates. We look forward to answering your questions and building the partnership for the Green Party movement here in the dawn of the 21st century.
Thank you, Al. Our next speaker is Dr. Margaret Flowers. Dr. Flowers has been an activist in the Green Party for many years. She's also one of the best-known proponents of single health care in the United States, and I believe that we are so proud to have her. Margaret? Oh, she's running for a U.S. Senate now.
morning. So as David said, I'm a pediatrician. I practiced for 17 years, and I left practice in 2007 to do advocacy work full-time, initially around a single-payer healthcare system. I've tried to work within the system that we have, both at the state and at the national level, and that was really an awakening to me to see the level of corruption by money of both major political parties and how there really was no interest in passing policies that benefit the people, policies that people need and both want. Now we have academic studies to prove that for us, that we have a plutocratic government system. And that's why the Green Party is so critical right now, and that's why I'm running for U.S. Senate. I come from a solid blue state, and we see the same problems in Maryland that we see across the nation. Problems with the climate crisis hitting. We just had a flash flood last week that killed 2 people. We have problems with fossil fuel infrastructure being put into residential neighborhoods where it shouldn't be. We have problems with wealth inequality, with privatization of our education, and a failing healthcare system. In Baltimore, where I live, we have 2 major medical institutions, Johns Hopkins and University of Maryland, but yet we have life expectancy disparities of 20 years between various neighborhoods. People are living in the shadows of these institutions and can't get the health care that they need. So these are the reasons why I'm running for U.S. Senate. I've been fighting from the outside on a broad range of issues, and now I think we need to take that fight inside. And even if we don't win our races, because we know how rigged the system is, we know this is about building political power, and that takes time. And so we are committed in Maryland and to work with the National Party to build that green power over the coming years and start winning more races. We do win races, but we're going to win more races and really bring that political change and that voice that's not being heard. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Margaret. As she said, we do win races. I just want to point out, as Scott mentioned, I am a former 2-term mayor of the Village of Greenwich, New York. In 2008 and 2009, myself and 2 other local Greens ran for local office in neighboring communities, and all 3 of us did win. So we not only run, but we win. Next up is someone who has a very good shot at being elected the first Green Senator in the United States. That is Arn Marconi from the great state of Colorado.
Thank you, everyone, for coming here. My name is Arn Marconi, and I'm running for U.S. Senator for the state of Colorado. I was a 2-term county commissioner in Colorado. I've won 2 races. I was a Democrat. I changed parties last year in order to run as a Green Party candidate. I also ran a national charity for disadvantaged youth for over 20 years that served over 40,000 children. And I also ran a for-profit business. And I have a master's in business administration. So I know what it's like to work in all 3 sectors of the economy. I know what it's like to find solutions. The reason I'm running is because every night 60 million people go to sleep in refugee camps. The reason I'm running is because our country is dedicated to endless war. The reason I'm running is because every week innocent people are killed by our military, and Americans are not being represented by 2 radical parties, the Republican Party and the Democratic Party. It's time to bring common sense and represent the American people. It's time to not take special interest. If you want special interest out of politics, don't vote for people who are taking special interest money. The other reason I'm running is because as a Democrat who was able to get behind the magic curtain, I saw what it was like. I've been in major fundraisers in Aspen and Vail with Bill Clinton, with Nancy Pelosi, Dianne Feinstein, and others. And the gentleman I'm running against, a Democrat, has taken over $12 million. 80% of it is coming from outside of the state of Colorado. That man is representing corporate America. Our country is run by a corporate totalitarian state. We already had a revolution in America, and the corporations won, and it's time for the American people to take it back. It's up to us in the next 96 days to not wait for a political revolution, but to overthrow the system. The problem is not Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump. The problem is capitalism. I have switched parties because the 2-party system, the inside party and the outside party, needs to be represented by the people. So we need to stop endless wars. We need to stop global warming. We need to stop the acceleration of the inequality gap, and we need to stop racial injustice. Those are the four issues that corporations are allowing to continue, that are oppressing all people throughout the world. And I challenge every single American to wake up and fight in the next 97 days and believe that you have power. Power will not succeed, will not give up unless there is a struggle. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mark. There's been an explosion of interest in the Green Party since Bernie Sanders decided to endorse Hillary Clinton. But that doesn't mean that we have not been growing in years past. We've certainly seen that in the great city of Baltimore. A lot of that growth there became growth because of the tragic death of Freddie Gray. And we've seen that within the Green Party. This year we actually had 3 candidates running for primary office for mayor of Baltimore. And we have the winner with us here today, a very impressive young man, Joshua Harris.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you all for coming out. This is an exciting weekend, exciting event. My name is Joshua Harris. I'm a candidate for mayor in Baltimore City. And I think the nation has really been watching Baltimore for the last year and several months. And we saw all the media headlines. Baltimore was on fire last April. And the reality is that Baltimore was burning a long time before that. And it was due to ineffective policies, neglect, and divestment. And I believe that the single greatest issue is distribution of capital in Baltimore City. Who controls it? And in Baltimore, just like you see on the national level, unfortunately, it's the corporate interest that has led to 40 and 50 years of neglect in East and West Baltimore that caused people to rise up last spring. And so in that, every single day, that's the work that I'm doing to counter what has been put in place to hold down, ignore, and not let the voices be heard of the many, if you will, in Baltimore City. And I was raised by a single mother, so I spent a lot of time with my grandmother. We used to take myself and my younger brother and my older brother, my younger sister, to events where people wore green shirts and they would protest and yell all the time. And then sometimes they would just meet and plan, and other times they would celebrate together like a family. And it wasn't until I was older that I realized that she worked for the union, fighting for fair wages and workers' rights. Because she believed, just like she taught me to believe, that we all deserve equal access and opportunity to be successful. That every single one of us deserves not a minimum wage job opportunity, but a living wage job opportunity. That we all deserve to know what it feels like to one day become homeowners, and that every single one of us deserves the opportunity to provide our children with a quality public education. And so those things will only happen if we continue to unite and to fight for what's right, even if it means that you're not a part of the corporate establishment and the status quo. And so that's what we're doing. And I'll end with this, knowing that individuals do not create revolutions, but conditions do. And the conditions in Baltimore, as well as the conditions nationwide, have been set so much to where people are tired of the same old politics. They're tired of business as usual. And right now is the moment where we're seeing the opportunity for people to really stand and do something totally different than what we've seen before. And so this week is an exciting week to be here in Houston. Exciting to see the presidential nomination come forward from the Green Party. Exciting to see the Green Party grow. And most importantly, exciting to see people to take a stand for what's right, even if that means you're breaking the status quo. So again, thank you. My name is Joshua Harris, and I look forward to spending the next few days with you all.
Thank you, Josh. Our next candidate is Susan Sone, who is running for City Council in the beautiful city of Galena Park, California.
Hi. My name is Susan Sone, and I'm on the City Council in Galena Park, California, District 3. Everyone's been talking about the global issues that we're experiencing, including climate catastrophe, social and economic inequality, and a growing frustration with a system that doesn't represent all of us. issues and local decisions, I've had a growing sense of urgency that we should all be a part of the solution. Therefore, I'm running for city council. I have spent the last greater than 35 years in the IT industry and become very active locally in the past year. I have served on the Atlantic Collaborative, been selected for the Police Chief Advisory Board, the Homeless Committee, and I'm working with the Anaheim Poverty Task Force to help homeless issues in Orange County. I've become a homeless advocate and am working to dispel many myths around it. I am committed to grassroots democracy, and I hope to combine my experience in IT with that, take advantage of new group of tools that have been created to allow people to participate in democracy via the internet. So my campaign is building a grassroots movement of committed residents locally to take advantage of these tools and to become passionate and energetic leaders. I'm a child of the 60s. National elections mobilize a vast swath of people who normally don't vote in local elections. So we have an unprecedented opportunity right now. I've never seen a national election like this one. And so that's why I've decided to run. Thank you very much. Looking forward to this weekend with everyone. I'm Susan Sani, and I'm running for City Council in Buena Park, California.
Thank you, Susan. Our final feature speaker this afternoon, or this morning, is Miles Honig, who is running for Congress from the great state of Maryland. Miles?
Good morning, everyone. My name is Miles Honig. I'm running for Congress in Maryland as a Green Party candidate. I'm a veteran public school teacher. I'm a member of the Badass Teachers Association. We're a Facebook page, 50,000 plus. We're fighting the corporatization, the privatization of our public education, and taking on all those threats that are coming at us from the Democrats, the Republicans, and the media. I'm also a union member with the NEA, but also with the National Writers Union, which is an affiliate of the United Auto Workers. Capitalism is the root cause of so many of the problems that we have today. Our environment is making our life soon uninhabitable, the earth uninhabitable, from ozone pollution, fracking, the poisoning of our water supply, from GMOs, from animal antibiotics, the problem with the barbarous and inhumane treatment of our livestock, the depletion of our aquatic life in our oceans. These are all a direct result of capitalism, something we need to take on. No country on earth and in our history has been so aggressive as the United States with regards to the sake of the natural resources of other countries. The U.S. seems to believe that it must control the monetary system of the world, and if it does not comply, we will brutalize their country and steal their resources. We see Iraq, we see Afghanistan, we see what we're doing with our proxies in Yemen, we see what's happening in Honduras and Ukraine. It's something that needs to stop immediately. Domestically, black lives do not matter for the Democrats and the Republicans. I'm extraordinarily impressed with Michelle Alexander's new Jim Crow. Although clearly identifying how African Americans are specifically targeted because of the injustice, there's also the economic side of it. We see that in a capitalist society, it requires an underclass in order to keep wages low, get rid of the unions, and make life so difficult for people that they are only focusing on surviving and not fighting back those that are oppressing them. I'm with the Green Party because as of tomorrow, we will become the largest national anti-capitalist and eco-socialist party in America when we pass an amendment that declares ourselves as such. I'm running not just to have Green Party, strengthen or, bringing other people from other districts as Greens running for the party to strengthen the party. we need to work with the Democrats and the Republicans and others on issues, but we do need to see that we must be separate from them, independent from the Democrats especially. We have to let the American people know that we have their back when the Democrats and the Republicans have the backs of the corporations and the industries. And that is why I'm running for Congress in the state of Maryland, 7th District, and my name is Miles Smith. Thank you all for being here.
We have some other candidates. We have some other candidates with us too this morning, and I'd like to introduce them. Rob Sherman, running for the U.S. House in Illinois. What district, Rob?
I'm running the 5th District of Illinois, which is Chicago.
5th District, Chicago.
Right, northwest side, O'Hare Airport, the suburbs. I'm a capitalist, and I love to tell you why I'm a capitalist and why I think socialism would destroy this party and destroy America.
Also, Constance Goodell Newton, who's running for state representative in Ohio, 18th District, which is downtown Columbus. And also Aryaksha Gregor Knauer, running for state representative in LV1 in Arizona. Where is that in Arizona?
Trying to cover the high desert Yavapai County, big district, but not so big.
Okay. And what we'll do now is we will entertain questions from journalists, and all of the candidates, those who spoke and those who I just introduced, can participate in the Q&A. And following that, we'll gather all the candidates together for some photographs. So, any questions? Yes.
I wanted to know if the candidates could speak maybe just the one very most important thing that the viewing public can do to assist their campaign.
The one most important thing that the public can do to assist their
If
campaign.
they're curious enough.
And I will just leave that open. Come on up and tell us.
The one thing that the viewing public, and even public not viewing, can do to assist my campaign and others is to go to our website, bartelformayor.com, because the internet and technology plays a part in the communication for the viewing public, and a website is a great way to do that. Additionally, the Green Party website is a reference point that can establish the Green Party movement. So if the viewing public can go to our individual websites candidates and the Green Party website, and that would be one of the most critical things the viewing public can do.
GP.org.
GP.org is the Green Party website.
If I could just add to that, I would tell the viewing public that the best thing that you can do is to vote green in 2016. There's confusion out there. People are confused by our political system. They don't understand that you don't have to be a member of the Green Party to vote green. In the general election, this November 8th, everybody can vote green, no matter what your party affiliation is.
People have to remember that we only have 96 days left. Aristotle talked about happiness, and in a society, everyone has a duty to be active right now. We are running for office. That's our calling. Everyone has to listen to their calling right now, because this is a historic election. This is an opportunity for us to take back democracy. So it's not just voting, it's about taking some time every single day and investing in your children's future. We have passed the point of no return on global warming. We are killing people right now, and inequality gap will continue to accelerate. So it's a moral issue for all of us today, tomorrow, and until November 7th to be in action in any way you can. You'll find it in your heart. Open your heart to love and compassion. Thank you.
State your name and your title.
My name is Arn Menconi, and I'm running for U.S. Senate in Colorado. A-R-N, last name M-E-N-C-O-N-I.
With all due respect to the press that's here, it's wonderful and glad you're here, but I would say to really help our campaigns, turn off your TVs and go on social media. because what you're seeing, what you're hearing a lot in the media is false information, and it's really distorting our message and playing into the two major parties. We really need for everybody who watches all the regular networks to really watch it with, with a grain of salt. Listen to it and really look at other media sources that are independent.
Unfortunately, Susan Sani, Buena Park City Council. Unfortunately, running for election costs money. The most important thing people watching to do is donate, because the Green Party is the one party that does not accept corporate donations. Thank you.
Carlos.
So people's more afraid about Donald Trump than Hillary Clinton. So what Mr. McConnell would say about this, and also what's the difference for you between the Green Party and the DNC and the Democrat and the Republican Party?
Well, that's probably the number one question. Don't listen to the fears that are being manufactured right now. The main difference is the Green Party is not taking special interest money. As I pointed out before, let me make it real clear. This country is run by a global corporate mafia. They have made it legal for them to break laws. The Green Party is not taking special interest money. That means we're representing the people. We watched what Hillary Clinton is doing. We watch where she's taking money from. The other thing that's very key that's never getting covered is the distinction between neocons and liberal intervention has all but evaporated. And that is what is driving. We're in a weapons-based economy right now. So people who are voting, you have to listen to your conscience if you wish to save lives. You cannot allow your conscience and your integrity to vote for a system that is allowing death to innocent people, global warming, inequality gap. Again, the problem is not Hillary and Donald Trump. The problem is capitalism, and we could change this. For example, in my election, I only need 600,000 votes in the state of Colorado to win a U.S. Senate race, to be one of 100 people called a U.S. Senator, and have a podium every single day to speak out about the injustices. The same thing for Dr. Margaret Flowers. The same thing for everyone else on this panel. You have to believe in your heart of hearts that you have the power in order to change the system. Do not listen to your fears.
Thanks, Arn.
Yeah, my body lady from the and I have two questions for the candidates. One is, what's the relationship between their campaign and the building up of a strong green party infrastructure in the state? And two, what's the possibility that each of these areas for obtaining a ballot status after the election is remaining? What's the percentage required? And third, for the people of Maryland, I'd like to know what they think about Jenny Jackson's recent primary victory. What seems to their race?
Okay, Al.
Yeah.
Identify yourself.
Sure. Al Bartel, Green Party candidate for mayor in the city of Atlanta, Georgia. The relationship between my campaign and the Green Party and building the Green Party movement, one, and the ballot access is as follows. In Georgia, we had to have 50,000 signatures certified to have a candidate statewide in the ballot. A judge intervened in that and decreased it to 7,500. And so we took on gathering signatures. We gathered 11,000 signatures in the state of Georgia, and we're just waiting for the Secretary of State to certify those signatures, and that looks like that's going to happen very, very soon. But the other reference point, which is more dear to my heart, is what is going to be the role of my campaign to build the Green Party of Georgia, the Green Movement of the Southeast region, the Green Movement of our nation, and the Green Movement globally. And the reference point for that is my relationship to data, information, and technology. We have to be able to, in the Green Party movement, effectively communicate data, collect data, and distribute data. If we're able to communicate data, collect data, and distribute data, we can impact public policy to the same degree as lobbyists, reference groups, and corporations. Like my buddy said, the social media reference point is now available as a reference point for revolution. And we're clear that the Green Party movement is a revolution. Can I get an amen?
Rob Sherman, Green Party candidate for the 5th District of Illinois, which is north and northwest side of the Chicago O'Hare Airport. I'm a pilot in suburbs near O'Hare. One of the questions raised by the gentleman pertained to ballot access. In Illinois, the corporate party rigged ballot access so that the established party candidates for president needs 3,000 signatures, but independent candidates, third-party candidates like Jill Stein, need 25,000 ballot signatures. 25,000 for Congress. An independent candidate needs 8,000 to 11,000 signatures to get on the ballot for Congress. A Democrat or Republican needs 300 to 500 signatures. If Jill Stein wins, I expect Jill to win the election, be the next president of the United States, and then I would be her floor leader. I would be President Stein's floor leader at the U.S. Congress. But even if she doesn't prevail across the country, if Jill gets 5% of the vote in Illinois, then the Green Party is an established party in Illinois for the next 4 years, and we only need the signature numbers that an established party candidate, that candidates of the established party need, and that's important for this reason. Right now, with the high ballot, signature requirement, the Green Party is burning up all of its money and all of its volunteer time just gathering signatures. By the time they gather signatures, they're all tapped out from time and money. Meanwhile, the corporate party candidates, they can spend all their time and all their money on campaigning. So it's important for Jill to get 5% in Illinois. I don't know what the standard is in other states, but by getting established party status, it is very helpful in making sure that we can spend our time and our money campaigning rather than nagging people to sign our nominating petition.
Just quickly, we can ask about Maryland, and I do want to say that we're fortunate in Maryland because we've had an active Green Party for a number of years. Now we have ballot access this year, and so we have been able to focus more on actually building the party and building up that infrastructure, databases, training in different methods of campaigning, canvassing, fundraising, those kinds of things. So that's been our focus this year. We're really lucky to have 5 people running for the House. My Senate race, we have Joshua running for mayor, someone running for president of city council, and 6 city council seats, 5 city council seats. So we have a good number of candidates this year, and we're working to support each other and build up a strong campaign and build up that database, which is fundamental, as you've heard. And the Democrats have actually been building their database since 1940, so we have a long way to go to catch up to them. Jamie Raskin, I've known him for a long time. He's a Democrat, in terms of the Democrats, so he's a progressive Democrat in Maryland who won. Really interesting. It was an interesting race because he was running against 2 very wealthy people. Is it Kathy Matthews and then the person that lives in and they spent so much money, but Jamie, because of his credibility and his work, won that race. And but this is the problem that we have in Maryland, is that we see that the Democratic Party determines what their party members can, what their elected officials can do. And so we don't have Democrats in Maryland that are willing to challenge the power structure. And that's what, Jamie does what he can within his limits, but he is restricted by that party affiliation, and that's why we think it's really important to get some names in there who are able to tell the truth, are able to stand. Our party is pretty clear on what it stands for, and those are things that we need from social, racial, economic, environmental justice. So that's all power to Jamie, but we still need to get name candidates in there that can do what we need to do.
Before we take the next question, let me invite the candidates who have not had a chance to come up here and speak. You're invited to answer questions. We'd love to hear from you. Any further questions? Yes.
Yes, I'm Lee McQueen from the Queen Press, and we just recently got news that Jill Stein will be doing a town hall with CNN on August 17th. And I'm curious if any of the down ballot candidates have also achieved television exposure. If you have, how did you do it? And if you haven't, do you have a plan to get yourself in front of people who are not on the internet?
Come up, tell us about your successes in getting into the media or difficulties that you've had in getting media exposure. Come on.
Rob Sherman, the 5th District of Illinois from Congress. I'm a retired radio talk show host. I did morning drive on Chicago radio. The microphone and I are best friends. So because of my prominence, I get all kinds of media. I also happen to be the most prominent atheist in the history of Illinois. I've fought numerous state church separation battles. So I've been involved in I've been getting press coverage on that and my number one campaign plank, which is secular government for all. Remove the anti-atheist religious graffiti from our money. Remove the anti-atheist religious editorial from the pledge. No more God on the money, no more God in the pledge. Eliminate Christmas as a federal holiday, which it turns out a lot of Christians support that concept because they want to put Christ back into Christmas. They can't do that if the federal government is involved. The government's involved, it's got to be bland and generic and secular. Christians want their holiday to be religious, so a lot of Christians have supported that. So the bottom line here is not only I'm not only getting coverage because of my fame, but I'm also getting coverage because I'm advocating for positions that nobody else is advocating for. There are atheists and secularists across the country who've been pleading for 50 years for a candidate to run on that kind of a platform. Well, great for the campaign contributions.
I'll try to keep it brief. Curry Aksha, Gregor Knauer for LD1 in Arizona. Thanks for being here. And I'd like to say at the local level, thank you for your question, please.
Yes, please.
In Arizona, in the Phoenix market, believe it or not, it was the Fox affiliate that invited us into the studio for question and answers and actually aired it and then put on the computer too. I'd like to echo what Miles and Al are recommending, reminding us to use social media. And also, we need to tax the nonprofits, including the churches, etc.
Good morning, Joshua Harris, candidate for mayor in Baltimore, Maryland. We've been able to get a little bit of television time due to equal time laws, of course, and monitoring that is key. But to come back to your question about how are we going to reach people who are not on social media, and that kind of connects to the question asked for what's one of the things that you to support candidates, and that is touching people directly. If you're watching wherever you are, I guarantee there's someone who's running as a green near you. You can volunteer for that campaign to knock doors and get out, hand out literature, and touch people directly. The fastest way to get word out is still word of mouth. You may not have commercials, but people become the commercials in their life that they see and hear. And so touching people directly is extremely important. Those social media is a very valuable tool in local races and local elections. It's really about touching voters directly and letting them know that they have an alternative to the status quo.
Hi, my name is Armin Koenig, and I'm running for U.S. Senate. You're not going to get covered as a third-party candidate that often because the media is owned by the same corporations that own our government. So you have to work extra hard. I send out emails to about 90 news outlets in Colorado every week or so, and I call it, actually it's Ralph Nader's line, it's called political bigotry. Third-party candidates are not getting covered. I have gotten mainstream coverage with the Denver Channel 7 News, and that played on a Sunday afternoon. That was great. I've gotten covered by Mint Press News. I've gotten covered by The Real News. So the independent media is doing a great job in trying to get out there and covering us. And then I want to give a shout out to the citizen journalists who are here, who are covering it. That's how I got involved. I started going to protests. If you have a smartphone and you have a Wi-Fi connection, you are a journalist today because of the democratization of the internet. So that's the main way we're getting it out. Remember, the Arab Spring happened because of Twitter. All we need to do is start being activists on social media.
My name is Colleen Goodell Newton, and I'm running for state rep in Ohio. It's the 18th district, which is downtown Columbus. And we are lucky in Columbus to have pretty strong independent media. We have the Columbus Free Press, and it's been featured in an article in the Free Press. And we also have a community radio station. WCRS is the community radio station, and WGRN is an eco-feminist radio station. So those are two radio stations we have in Columbus. I have also been interviewed on those radio stations. Another thing that I would say is that we do have ballot access in Columbus. That has made it very, in Ohio, that's made it very easy for me to get on the ballot with only 25 signatures, which is half of the number of the major parties, and much less than somebody who would be running as an independent. So as an official candidate who's on the ballot, and we have our official party status, I have received a lot of questionnaires, including from the Columbus Dispatch. So there will be information about my campaign on the Columbus Dispatch website.
Thank you. We'll take one more question. Yes.
Hi,
Jessica.
Jessica Taylor, NPR. Maybe some of the candidates can talk about if you've seen an uptake of interest maybe since the DNC or over the past month, and maybe former supporters of Bernie Sanders coming and wanting to volunteer or work for your campaign.
Al Bartel, the Green Party candidate for mayor in the city of Atlanta, Georgia. We've definitely seen an uptick of support, communication, participation, volunteers, and even resources. Since Bernie did not get the Democratic Party nomination, there was a conversation about whether him or Nina or somebody else would come on and possibly be the VP. But those of us in the Green Party movement, we were clear that the movement was here before Bernie and before Nina. And so it's not like we were waiting for the catastrophe to happen that did for them to come over. We in the Green Party movement, it was already here. We were clear that one of the things that had Nina make her move up in Ohio was that the Green Party movement and the movement of the people was already in place. She just took it on in her relationship with the Democratic Party. But now that has all altered, and she still decided to be with the Democratic Party, it's clear that these people are interested in the Democratic Party more than they are in the movement. So the movement is here, the movement's been here, and the movement is going to be here. And quite frankly, some of us are disappointed by Bernie and Nina's relationship to the Green Party and the People's Movement, as if it had to do with them. It did not. It had to do with the movement. So we appreciate the opportunity for people who are genuinely come to the Green Party movement, bringing their energy, bringing their time, and bringing their resources. But let it be known to be crystal clear, it was never about Bernie and never about Nina. It was always about the movement.
Ladies and gentlemen, we keep seeing the negatives going up for both Don and Hillary. Meanwhile, the positives go up for Jill. And you will see Hillary fading. You will see Jill rising in the polls. The next president of the United States will be Jill Stein, because the two corporate party candidates are fading. Their negatives keep going up. We keep surging. And as people recognize that Hillary is fading and they don't want Don to be the next president of the United States, Jill will continue her surge. Jill Stein will be the next president of the United States, and I expect to be the floor leader for President Stein when I'm elected to Congress. Rob Sherman for Congress of Illinois.
Candidate for Maryland Congress, 7th District. I think all of us who are on Facebook, we should get off of it, but we're all on Facebook, and we're all seeing so many people coming to us saying, I was a Bernie supporter, I was a Democrat. I am so excited to be with the Green Party, because even though they're very new to the Green Party, and they don't exactly know what it's all about, they know that the party that they've been associated with for all their lives, for some of them just for a few years because of their age, they're seeing that it does not represent them at all, that this Dem exit is a result of just the very obvious rigging of the elections, the fact that it's reported, and the fact that the leaks came out. But we've known about this corruption in the party for years. That's why we're green. That's why we're independent. And as Comrade Al says, we've been here long before the Democrats came over to us. So we are the ones, we are that safety valve for those who really need a place to go to settle for their politics, for their ideals, and they are seeing that it is the Green Party that is that representative for them.
If I could just quickly, I'm Margaret Flowers, running for U.S. Senate in Maryland. And for the Senator Sanders campaign, I know it activated a lot of young people. My oldest son was one of those who, grew up, of course, politically aware in our household, but really got activated by the Sanders campaign, canvassing. And for him and for his friends, what it really was about the issues. It was about the fact that Bernie was speaking the truth, wasn't taking corporate money, and his positions on many of the issues. And so that hasn't changed, and that's why they're not going into the Democratic Party now that Hillary Clinton has been elected. They're switching over to Green Party support. We're seeing a lot of new volunteers. We're seeing what was really amazing about the Sanders campaign was a lot of the creativity that we saw from these kind of grassroots supporters, and that creativity is now being switched over to support Green Party candidates. So it's an exciting time for us that this was, as Miles said, we've known about the corruption within those parties for a long time, but now a whole other generation has seen it very close up, and they're not taking it. So that's a good way for us to see.
Again, Arm Manconi, U.S. Senate, Colorado. Jessica, Margaret and I were in Philadelphia at the DNC, and a quick analysis would be there was inside the convention center, you had the Hillary supporters. When Bernie endorsed Hillary Clinton, there was a fracturing inside of the Bernie-crats, and you could feel it because people left. And they came out into the street where we were protesting, and there was this 6 stages of death that you were watching them go through. And if you have some gray hair, you know what that feels like. When somebody for the first time is waking up to the fact that they thought they put everything behind a political revolution, and I don't know how you move the goalposts back on enough is enough, but when they saw that, they came out and they started switching parties for the Green Party. And people started following us because we were filming what was going on, and we were reporting because the mainstream media was not out in the streets filming the different protests that were going on. So every time there's an event, if it's the WikiLeaks release of the emails with regards to the DNC, if there is a state convention where the super delegates are backing Hillary Clinton, I'm watching people. I've traveled all over the state 3 times. That's thousands of miles in a state like Colorado, and you see people just saying, "I can't take it anymore." Every day on my social media, I've switched parties. I joined the Green Party today. I'm unaffiliated. I'm not going to vote for the establishment.
I will just remind people that at 11 a.m. this morning, Central Time, we will begin the press conference featuring Green Party candidates from Texas, here in Texas. Yes, sir.
Do we have the candidates all together?
Oh, I was going to do that in a minute.
Sorry.
So please join us here at 11 a.m. at the Student Center here at the University of Texas, the University of Houston, at the Green Party's National Convention. And finally, I'd like to, let's gather all the candidates together here in front of the screen and take photos and do whatever. And please, I invite you to speak to the candidates, interview the candidates for all levels, state and local levels. After this press conference, get to know them. They're all very interesting candidates.
Guys, can you go down, please? Thanks.
Hi,